So, I would like to first begin my new student dialogue video by defining dialogue, which is um, consisting of written and spoken conversational exchange between one or more people. Now, dialogue is something that we do all the time. In our families, in social life, in school, obviously, and in our new student dialogue sessions. And that's a lot about what we learned. Now, my student dialogue was on the mental health in college, awareness, and stigma. Now, to be quite honest, I didn't think that it would be that interesting, as I'm sure most people didn't. But it really was. I even came away with some worksheets here. Uh, One of them was on my identity, which I honestly never really thought about. Um, but that helped me track through my entire life to see why and how I became the person that I am today. So I became very aware of that, which we did in a group. So we did the worksheet ourselves, and then we went around and spoke about it with other people. So then that helped us compare what other people were doing too, which was much easier than doing it by yourself. So that dialogue with other people really helped do that. And also, we had a social identity wheel that we made that ranked what we thought was important in our lives. And for me, I found out that my religion was my top, um, I don't know, the highest thing that I wanted people to see in me and the thing that I based my life off of. All right, and so to the criteria of this video, um, there were many people in my group. There were 20, 25 people in my group, and most people were very shy, including myself, at the beginning because nobody really wants to talk about their personal identities and awareness of other people and their stigmas and everything else with other people. That's just not comfortable, but everybody just kind of relaxed. And so I was one of the first people to talk um, because, well, we were going to be there for 2 hours, so and we needed to get it going. So so I did that, and some other people started to chime in, and then it actually worked out. So I would classify myself as an active voice, and of course the instructors were very, very active voices. They were, guiding us throughout the whole thing. And there were definitely some people in the group who did not speak at all, um, and that's perfectly understandable. One of the main topics we spoke about was suicide, and the people who didn't say anything, they could have had family members or themselves dealing with this issue, and there was no way that they wanted to speak about it, which is perfectly reasonable. Um, that's just one assumption that I could have made. Uh, and like I said, I think I played one of the roles as one of the more active voices that got people more comfortable in speaking. Um, so overall, I think my group was really good. It was a good experience to be able to talk with other people. And one of the main things that I figured out was that suicide is much more common. Well, maybe not the actual act of killing oneself, but the thought of it in college students' minds and in people's families, and how a lot of people try to commit suicide. And most of the time, the high majority of the time, the first attempt is a failure. And then after that, the percentage of success skyrockets, which is really worrisome, which I never even crossed my mind. I had a friend one time, and their aunt committed suicide, and I don't know, I guess that never really clicked with me. I never understood how serious that was. and it's immoral for some people, and it's against religion. I suppose most religions. But for some people, it's a real problem and a real struggle to even go through life. And it normally happens to what most people would perceive as the happiest people, the popular, most successful, um, just those kinds of people. And then they end up trying to take their own lives because there's just so much more in their lives that I or you or whoever just doesn't know about, like family issues or health problems or whatever it may be. And an excellent example of that is our instructor. She was uh, she had dealt with suicide her entire life, um, trying to combat it, and she had actually attempted to commit suicide. And she, it never crossed my mind that she was one of those people. It just blew my mind. At the very end, she told us, and it was a complete revelation. We had no idea that she would have been the person to do that. Um, so it showed us that there's just so many people out there that this could happen to, and you just don't know it because they're normal and they're happy, but you just don't know what's underneath their skin and what they're going through. And this dialogue has made me aware of that problem. And so the health of our campus and the students and the stigmas of others, we're just more aware. We're more aware of it, and we know how serious it can be, and that it is a problem that can be dealt with, and that if people need help, they need to go and get it, and people need to accept them so they're not afraid to go get help. So, all in all, it's very good, successful dialogue.